Hello and welcome to another Writerly Witterings. My name's Michael Jex. This is a cup of Earl Grey. Very nice. As you will have seen, only recently, a nice little parcel arrived from Marta in Poland. And it included a whole bunch of delightful looking inks. And I thought today it was about time to see if I can use this to test some inks. Here we go. I originally tested all of my inks in this very delightful Goulet Pen Company Tomo River notebook. And it was wonderful, but I'm going to keep this separate now. This is going to be used purely for testing diamine inks, because I've already got so far through it and almost all the inks in there are diamine. So I thought what would be useful would be to use this, an organiser book by Oxford. I spoke about this a little bit the other day, but I've actually been using this a lot recently, and the reason is it has this magnificent area at the back where you can store notes on any subject, but in particular you can also store a complete manuscript, I've discovered. So this is, or has been for me for the last few weeks, enormously practical. Now, it's a strange thing. I should just say it has this Oxford Notebook app called Scribsy, and I understand it means that you can take a photo of every page and then store all of your important notes on Evernote. I used to use Evernote all the time. I believe these are sort of sight lines for how you get things lined up. But I've stopped using Evernote because it started getting a bit more expensive and I gave up. But if you use that sort of thing, this could be very useful. Now, what I do like about this pad is that everything is perforated, and that makes it a lot easier to move things from here towards my other notebooks where I keep records. And what's also nice with this, as I mentioned briefly the other day, is that it has these tabbed dividers, and you can put them anywhere you want. So if I want to have this first section, I'll probably keep all sections for testing inks, then you just go through and put your tabbed divider wherever you want to have it. If you wish, you can title the contents page with what you want to have in, and then you're away. Nice and simple, eh? So I'm going to shift these notes on the next book out of the way because they're not relevant today. They can go into the section at the back so I don't lose them. And now we're ready to rock. So I have always tested my inks with TWSBI 1.1mm stubs, because the TWSBI 1.1mm gives you lots of line variation from sideways to vertical. It is a supreme concept in terms of how you fill it. Just press the plunger and release it and you're full of ink. And they're actually very nice to work with, which isn't right for something that cheap. However, they have one failing, and that is when you want to fill from a very small container, they're not likely to do it. So I thought for today I might resurrect my little TWSBI Eco and see if this would work. I'm not sure, but I think it should just fit into even those tiny little gaps. So let's try it and find out. I did consider showing you filling of the pen, but then I thought if it's anything like other occasions, I'm going to spill ink everywhere. I've just loaded KWZ Cappuccino into my TWSBI. It did just work, but it wasn't easy. I've got a suspicion some of the less full ink bottles here may not work. But never mind, Marta, we have other solutions. First of all, I'm going to do a test of a bunch of inks and show you what they look like. Now, I would say that is a rather gorgeous colour. A little bit of a smear there where a hair got caught on the nib. And where I say who is currently biting her nails, I do apologise for the strange clunking noise in the background. That is indeed the dog biting her nails. It's rather sad, but there you go. So this one is Cappuccino. I have said before, and I'll say it again, I am not a big fan of brown inks. But that, I think, is really rather lovely. And the other thing is, it smells gorgeous. This may sound daft, but this to me smells of pure vanilla. It's really a fantastic smell. Lovely stuff. I think, although I don't like browns, this is an ink I could well be buying to add to my collection, because that is just gorgeous. Having tried the excellent Cappuccino, which I'm going to keep an eye on, next we've got some ink gall turquoise from KWZ. Now this is a delightful ink gall. If you look, very bright, gorgeous light blue colour, and that very quickly darkens to this sort of Prussian blue. Really nice colouring, I like that. See how bright that is, and then very quickly dries to a dark blue. Very, very appealing. That apparently, I am told, is one of the attributes of ink gall inks, IG inks. It is that there's a certain amount of iron, I think it is, in the ink itself, and as it sits on the page, the iron oxidizes and makes it go a lot darker. Fascinating, these inks, aren't they? You don't really think about things like that when you're just considering your first outlay on some inks and the beginning of your fountain pen fun. So next on the list is one of those that I think leaked in the parcel on the way here, the standard turquoise rather than ink gall. And I wanted to do this side by side so you can see the difference in how they react. I'm hoping this will show that the turquoise standard stays turquoise. As I feared, there's not quite enough ink for me to be able to fill the pen, so I'm going to have to use this as a dipping approach. So this is just standard turquoise from KWZ. And again, this ink smells gorgeous, vanilla-like. I can only believe that KWZ deliberately put vanilla in their inks. Absolutely lovely. I think we'll go from the blue to a KWZ brown pink. So here we are with brown pink. Let's see what it looks like on paper. I should just explain to those of you who didn't see the unboxing of these inks, there was a slight problem in transit, in that unfortunately when I received the parcel it was absolutely full of ink, and all of these inks got very badly polluted with ink flowing everywhere. It's the same process as if you're travelling with a pen. If you've got an air bubble in the top, the changing cabin pressure on a postal flight or in an aeroplane is no problem at all. But if it's upside down, that bit of air will increase in size as the pressure changes in the cabin, so it forces a whole bunch of the ink out. So fortunately Marta, who sent me these inks, was very sensible and had all of them in a Ziploc bag from IKEA, which held all the ink in. It didn't leak out everywhere, which is good, but it did involve a certain amount of cleaning up. Still, never mind. I don't know how clear that is to your eye, but that is a very nice dark damson sort of colour when it's dried off. But that is a really very appealing colour. I like that. So I will install that safely in its container. And then last of all we have a fairly illegible label saying menthol green. That is a very nice colour. Yes, I like that lots. I am rather partial to a teal. So far, I really like, embarrassingly, every single one of these. I mean, I'm a simple soul, I like colour in my writing, but these are very, very nice. Let's just show them off rather more clearly. Not one of these has any problems. I really, really like cappuccino. That is a very appealing colour to me. More of a sepia to my mind as a painter, but still. The turquoise KWZ I really like because it goes down as a plain turquoise and then dries back to this darker Prussian blue. I'm very, very keen on Prussian blues and blue blacks. That's a colour I'd like a lot. Turquoise, goes without saying, really like it. Pink brown, that is definitely towards the brown. When it was fresher on the nib, it was quite dark, but as it wrote and thinned out, it became a very good, quite subtle pink. So very, very intrigued with that. The menthol green, when it went down, looked much more of a teal. Now it's dried off. It's sort of a minty green, but with a very slight tinge of blue in it. Now all of these inks go down really well on paper. There's a certain degree of really nice shading in the cappuccino. Look at the H in who. The ink gall also has very nice shading. Turquoise has some, but actually it's such a bright colour that it's hard to see where there is any shading. The brown pink has superb shading, really, really nice, and so is the menthol green. So if you like shading, avoid the turquoise perhaps. There is of course the one last test we have to do, which is to look at the other side of the page and make sure that the paper's coping. Well, there's absolutely no bleed through, nothing whatsoever. And if I just test the other thing that matters, I don't know how well this is going to show up because absolutely no feathering, nothing nasty whatsoever. That is superb paper, for which I am very grateful. So that was fun, wasn't it? Some interesting little ink pots that I wasn't too sure how I'd be able to use them, but dipping them with that pen worked very well, which makes me think I could have just dipped the fuller ones with the TWSBI Go with the 1.1 stub, which might be something I'll try next time. Actually no, next time I've got larger size ink bottles, so I'll just stick ink into a TWSBI Go. It's easier like that. But I was impressed with those colours, and also with the fact they all smell of vanilla. That just adds something to it. Having an odour included with them is very good. That's your lot for now. Thanks a lot for watching. If you would like to participate in keeping this channel, I've got to just say, look at that ink. I've got it all over myself. You can't see a thing there, can you? No. Anyway, disgusting. If you'd like to support the channel, there's a link down at the bottom to go to Patreon, where you can help. If you've got any comments, go to the comments section. If you want to subscribe, then hit the subscribe button. If you want to know when there's any new videos coming out, hit the bell beside it because that'll give you notifications. Share it with your friends, all of those good things. You know what to do. And in the meantime, I will see you in a week's time. Thanks a lot for watching. I'm going to go back to my cup of tea and wash my hands and some pens. Oh, before I forget, I was advised by a good fellow on this channel that when you get ink on your fingers, as I do regularly, the best thing to do is to wash them with shampoo. And shampoo gets all of that guck off your fingers much, much faster. All I can say is thanks ever so much. I've tried that and it's garbage. It doesn't work at all. My shampoo is hopeless, it's useless, and I'm going to go back to a scrubbing brush and some ordinary soap. I thought you'd like to know that. Cheers, take care. No, I'm going. Bye-bye.